Positive focus, positive mindset work, and shadow work, doing the healing work, don't have to contradict each other. Now, to be fair, I understand why people think this, because there is a lot of toxic positivity that gets passed around the woke positive mindset community and teachings in the greater spiritual community. And there are people who think that if you're going to focus on your shadow work, your healing that you need to do, that this is going to contradict any positive mindset work you're doing, because you're looking at your shadows. You're looking at the things about you that need to be healed, that need to be worked on. But these two things do not, when done correctly, do not contradict each other. And actually, when done properly, show that you're starting to understand the principle of polarity, the spiritual universal law of balancing in general. First of all, welcome back to another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage Sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. It is up to us how we choose to process our lives. And whether you decide to do that from what people call a positive mindset or a mindset that focuses on the bad things is up to you. And this goes for everything we do in life. So this idea that positive mindset work, which I don't like using positive and negative for anything other than like math related adding and subtracting. So you'll notice in other videos I try to stay away from or correct myself when I use positive and negative, because it's a thing I learned from psychology and getting my degree in psychology. So most of the time you'll hear me say good and bad and not positive and negative. The only time I use positive and negative is to talk about adding and subtracting. Anyway, so this is the only time you'll find me doing it, because that's what other people call it. And so I'm trying to make sure that people understand what I'm talking about. So we have what's called positive mindset work, which is focusing on the good things. And then we have shadow work, and people think that these two things don't go together. And shadow work is really just healing. And you can absolutely heal from a mindset that focuses on the good things. So this idea that somehow positive mindset work, positive focus, focusing on the good things, contradicts healing. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And if anything, they add to each other. Because when you do the healing, you can get better at positive focus. When you have positive focus, the healing doesn't hurt quite as much as it would if you were just focused on the bad things and not focused on, I don't know, how those bad things were lessons. So I talk about this as often as I can. I remind people of this as often as I can, because we end up having these camps of people, these sides of people that we don't need to have. We basically get these straw men, these invisible naysayers as enemies in the spiritual community to post up against each other. When that's completely unnecessary. We don't need to feel like we contradict each other, because we don't. And to be honest, let me take a sip of water really quick. To be honest, the concept of the principle of polarity, being able to live in balance harmoniously with things on both sides of the spectrums, that is a spiritual skill, that is a spiritual outlook, that is a spiritual ability that absolutely needs to be mastered if you want to actually achieve a certain amount of awakening or enlightenment. So if anybody ever tells you that positive mindset work contradicts shadow work, they don't know what they're talking about. Truly. Like, they don't contradict each other. You can have a positive outlook, you can have a good outlook on life, and heal, and even look at those bad things in your life. And it won't make your manifesting any less powerful. It'll make it stronger, because the more you heal, the more you look at those things that were bad in your life and heal from them, take the positive, the good lesson from it, or the good things that came from it, and move on, the more awakened, the more enlightened, the better at manifesting you will be. So don't let anybody ever convince you that positive mindset work, positive focus, and shadow work, healing, contradict each other, because they don't. They absolutely add to each other. They build upon each other, so that eventually, once you've done the work to heal the wounds that you have now, you don't have to take on more of them. You don't have to do this continuous cycle of hurting and healing and hurting and healing that you get stuck on, because all you're doing is focusing on the healing and the shadow work. That's what happens. If you don't start building the spiritual levels of consciousness that include the positive focus, if you don't have that, then you're just going to be a miserable person stuck in these cycles of hurting and healing. And you might get a little better because you'll have been doing some of the healing, but you won't have any of the tools that keep you from getting hurt again. Or you'll have less of them than you could have. And why would you want to deprive yourself of tools that could help you be healthy and happy? Why would you want to do that to yourself? So that's my story for the day, and I'm sticking to it. When we embrace the principle of polarity, which is an ancient spiritual teaching. The reason why I did that series on the Kabbalion is because they are the teachings that all other teachings come from, as far as we can tell. All other teachings have something from Hermeticism in them. All of them. When it comes to spirituality and religion. So, when it comes to figuring out what are the first things you really want to start understanding when it comes to developing spiritual levels of consciousness and stepping out of the ordinary levels of consciousness, the Kabbalion, alongside A Course in Miracles, are probably the two best tools you can start with. Which is why in my Spirituality 101 and 2.0 series, I'm teaching A Course in Miracles from the student workbook, because those exercises are what help you develop spiritual levels of consciousness. They are quite literally what the greats of our time studied and taught, including people like Wayne Dyer. And he's Oh my goodness. Probably one of my favorite people to listen to speak. Even when he's reminding me of the things that I already know. Because you can never learn these things enough. Because each time you get something new out of them. That's what I love about listening to Wayne Dyer speak. And that's what I hope to provide for people and do someday, if I'm not already. Because I aspire to those levels of teaching. And I'm working on it. But we're all human. And I haven't been doing this for as long as he has had. So we're making our way through. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for another video. I want to leave you with this. Ask yourself, if someone is trying to tell you that something can't work together, does that sound like a spiritual way of thinking? Because in my estimation, being able to balance the polarities, hold them at the same time, like this little, let's see if I can get closer. I'm wearing these earrings intentionally right now. When we can hold the polarities together, balance them, we are on our way to the spiritual levels of consciousness that awaken and enlighten us. So, let's not be too quick to dismiss anything the ego tells us threatens us. Maybe we should be asking, if my ego is responding, what does this have to teach me? And maybe this is something that I should look into. Anytime I feel my ego have resistance to something, I do it. Anytime my ego goes, ugh, gross, I go, I'm gonna have to watch this, or I'm gonna have to try this. You know, not for anything that well, actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say not for anything that's dangerous. But your ego isn't what's responding when you're responding to something dangerous. That's your intuition. That's something else. That's a different part of you. So if your ego is responding, which it is if it's telling you that anything's wrong or bad with something in a judgmental way, rather than a, I don't know, very logical way, I'll say for now. If you're making snap judgments about things, if you get a knee-jerk reaction from the ego, ask yourself, where is this resistance coming from? And why? What makes me feel threatened by this? Because especially when it comes to these subjective, intangible things, you know, we're not being chased by lions or tigers or bears. Oh my. You know, we don't have someone in an alley with a knife or a gun to us. So when we find ourselves in these subjective situations, these situations that aren't happening in the physical reality, are happening in our levels of consciousness, in our mind, Where is that resistance coming from? And why is it there, and what is it here to teach you? Because when you can figure that out, that is working from a positive mindset. I hate to break it to people, but it's true, because you're focusing on what you have to learn from it. You're focusing even possibly on a solution. You're focusing on a solution to your resistance, which is learning from it. That's positive mindset and does not in any way contradict or go against one's ability to heal, grow, and expand. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for another video. Don't forget to check out the links in the description, because if you're enjoying my videos here, you will enjoy the links in my description. That includes Patreon, where I have my Spirituality 101 and 2.0 series available with just the Awakening, or well, not just, with the Awakening tier, as well as the other tiers that I have available. I have 2 of them available, the Awakening and the Sanctuary of the Sanctuary of the Awakened. I was just gonna say something, and then I had a brain fart. Let's see if it comes back to me. And in the meantime, oh, that's what I was going to say. I was just recently going through Spirituality 101 and 2.0 on Patreon, and was laughing at myself for some of the quality of videos that I had when I first started this journey into filming and putting myself on social media, because I had a couple of videos that just, like, because I had bad lighting that day, but I really wanted to get my video out while I was inspired, kind of looks like like a snuff film. But the information is good, even if I wasn't always great at filming. Oh, it was bad. Anyway, I have 2 tiers on Patreon available, the Awakening and the Sanctuary of the Awakened. And the Awakening tier gives you pretty much everything my Patreon has to offer. All of my workshop replays, guided meditations, journal exercises, and it's basically my Patreon. It's a library of all of my favorite teachings, everything that I feel like is most important for people to have, starting at just $23 a month. And I have my own adaptations of teachings, as well as just, things like journal exercises from Tony Robbins. That's something I put up recently. All sorts of great stuff over there. And then I have the Sanctuary of the Awakened, where that is my VIP group, and that's $33 a month, $33 a month, and one of those 2. And that gives you all of my Awake Not Woke content as well, my red pilled content as well. I get a little more personal, a little more worldly with some of the stuff I put on there. So you get the Awakening tier, or if you sign up for the Sanctuary of the Awakened, that gives you everything the Awakening tier has to offer, plus all of the Sanctuary content and access to our Slack chat, which I'm really just starting to build. I want that to be a community for us to all be able to talk away from the social media overlords. So, yeah. Other links in the description include working with me one-on-one. I have 2 spots available right now, open for anybody who wants to work with me one-on-one. So you can use the link in the description to get more information on the session packages I have available, as well as reserve your spot, because they're going quickly. And other links in the description as well. Check them out. And as always, let me close this. May the energies you serve you well. And let's keep making our way through.